Welcome to Dad Crossing, a podcast about animals and parenting. In today's episode, Sean and I will be talking about the fall Halloween update, how us dads vent our frustrations, and learn how to steer this ship one crewmate down. Sean, how have you been?
I've been good, cheers. How have you been?
Not too bad. It's been a little crazy this week. A lot of stuff at work going on, but still got a good amount of time to get my pumpkins in and all that fun stuff.
See, I was the opposite. I kind of had to rush everything one morning before setting off to work. I was like, get the pumpkins in quickly. So I ran around trying to figure out, where's my candy? Where do I find the candy from? And then realized that Nook's Cranny wasn't open because it was 10 to 6 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, the candy, we'll talk about that a little later. The candy has me a little confused. I thought I was solid on everything that goes on with Halloween. The candy does have me a little confused. So lately, what have you been playing, even though it's been a little crazy?
Obviously a lot of Animal Crossing, trying to collect those DIYs, I've been finishing at work at about 8 o'clock on a night, so I'll quickly jump on, run around Nook's Cranny, stuff like that. Able Sisters, see if there's any costume bits and pieces, which we still haven't found massive amounts of costumes. Yeah. So yeah, been doing that, trying to collect the DIYs as much as possible. BioShock, thanks to Frosticles in the Discord for pointing me in the direction for the UK Switch swap shop on the Facebook. It's a big Facebook group. I think it's got 1,700 members now.
Oh, awesome.
You just kind of post the pictures of games that you're willing to trade, and somebody says, I'll trade you this for this. And so I traded Yoshi's Crafted World for BioShock collection. It cost me £2.40 for postage, so
sure,
it was pretty cool. And then the other one I've been playing, and it's just in a bit of free time I've had at work, is Pedal Up, which is a mobile game. You play you're basically a guy riding a child's bike, and each level there's a set of challenges to try and get over obstacles in a certain time, or get over obstacles and hit these balloons and collect points, or ride the entire course backwards. And then there's a pro level where pro version of each level where they chuck a load of different items in. You've got to try and make your way over that. So it's pretty good. He's basically got a joystick, an accelerator or a pedal and a brake, and you've just basically got to try and make the guy hop and trials over everything. So
how do you make him move? What physical movement, or what do you do on the screen to make him move?
So there's a analog stick looking for your left thumb. So your left thumb controls the leaning backwards and forwards, but it also you can make him crouch and hop. So you can get him onto the back wheel and hop on the back wheel up things. So it's quite weird to get used to at first, but then once you've got a hang of the hopping mechanism for getting up things, it becomes really, really easy and quite fun. But yeah, that's all I've been playing really. I've had a lot of time at work, so I've not really had a great deal of time for anything else.
Yeah, I got you.
How about you? What you've been playing?
Well, yeah, first, before I go into what I'm playing, I don't know if you know, I was a mobile game connoisseur through the Wii U era. I just, as is the story with too many people probably, I bought a Wii U, actually the day it came out. That's when I knew it was going to be bad for a while, because I went to get my Wii U at 4 p.m, didn't think I'd be able to find one, and there was a really bored guy at Walmart with a stack of about 4 of them waiting to sell one to me. But anyway, so I got tired of the Wii U, and so I really did mobile games. So I love a good mobile. I played, oh my gosh, all throughout that era. I played way too many mobile games. I assumed that was my life in video games from then on out until I got a good look at the Switch and I realized, wow, I think I can do this instead. So I do love a good mobile game. Those are always fun.
I used to be Clash of the Clans and Clash Royale. They used to be my two.
Oh man, you don't even want to know how many hours I put into that. Clash of Clans especially. I legit had to put Clash of Clans down at it's the only time my wife has ever said, you need to put that down. Because I had gotten into a battle and she was like, can you help me with this? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I really need your help right now. And I was like, well, but if I don't, I'm going to lose so much money if I don't just finish this. And like, she was like, you need to not play that game for a while. And she unfortunately was right. And so I ended up putting the game down because I was a tad too addicted to that game. But yeah, man, I played a lot of Clash of Clans. I ended up liking Clash Royale a little bit more though, because I didn't feel like you got penalized for not playing like you did in Clash of Clans.
Yeah,
So,
it was. I liked the PvP style where it was live rather than just attacking a base, basically. So
yeah. Oh man, I sunk. That was my Wii U life, actually, just for playing first party games. But anyway, this is not mobile dads.
Yeah, the Wii U is the only Nintendo console I never got.
I got it, and I played 5 games on it.
But I'd like to go back, and I have looked for a second-hand one because there's a couple of Zelda games on there that I never played, and I love Zelda. Zelda and Mario are my two big things for Nintendo. So, and I missed Twilight Princess. Never played that. What was the other one? I played Wind Waker because that was on the Wii.
Yeah. It was Ocarina. I don't know. I didn't really do anything but new titles that came out from Nintendo. I was one of those. Right. I was one of those guys. Played Tropical Freeze and Galaxy, and that was really about it. But what was it? Oh, I know what I was going to say. My cheeky self wants to say there's no reason to go back because just give it a couple of years and Nintendo will have the entire Wii U library on the Switch. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Like that's what I say.
It's a wise idea to do that. Let's just let's move the Wii U to the Switch.
Yeah.
And forget about that console.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't happen.
That's totally what's happening. So what have I been doing? I've obviously been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. Toad Town is done. Very excited about that. I really want to do a walkthrough, and I might need Dan's help for this. I really want to do a walkthrough where I'm walking through Toad Town and through my Animal Crossing village like at the same time, so that you can kind of see how I built it and the similarities and the areas that aren't similar, just because of the restrictions of what you can do in Animal Crossing. But I'm pretty pleased with that. I like it. I am building a witch's forest also. I'm having fun with that right now. That's kind of my new focus, where my orchard used to be. So that's just kind of got started. It's got a ways to go. As I gain recipes and all that stuff, it'll continue to get fleshed out. But I'm enjoying that. My journey through Yeah, go ahead.
All right, your Witch's Forest, is that going to be your entry into the contest that we're running?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's totally going to be my entry, and it's going to be hard to get the one picture that I want just right. So, have we mentioned that on this show? I don't know.
Not yet. I completely forgot to put it in the doc because we haven't done it since. So.
That's a great segue, Sean. You did really good. We are running. Dad Crossing is running a contest currently, where it's a spooktacular contest. Where if you want to decorate a part of your island or a room, you can submit to us via Discord, via Twitter, via Instagram. We're all at NDad Crossing. You can submit to us one picture of your island that you think is spooktacular, and we will pit them head-to-head against another picture that somebody else has submitted, and whoever has the most votes wins and goes on to the next round. And the final two, whoever comes in first and second, first will get a $20 Nintendo eShop card, and second we'll get a $10. Did I miss anything, Sean? Is that right?
No, I think that's it. It's our first actual giveaway.
Yeah. Look at us.
So
we're growing up, Sean. We're growing up.
Arms and legs and.
Yeah. So my journey through console Mario's has hit a grinding halt. Some reviews really put a damper on that. That I'm doing for the Nintendo Dads, and then also just everybody's kind of super into Animal Crossing and the fall update, and so that hasn't happened. Oh, and also what put a grinding halt to it is Super Mario 35. Because I am super addicted to this game, and I can tell you why. It is the first online competitive game that I actually can win. I don't win every time. I'm not like amazing, but I have 4 wins under my belt, and I'm very proud of those wins because when it comes to online games, I usually suck. So that's just a fact in life.
So for what people don't know is that I didn't realize this was now out. So I'm sat here. I've got 97% of it downloaded. So if I do go quiet in the podcast, that's probably why.
You will too, because it's super addictive. I play one game and I'm like, wow, I just play one. And then I get like, I don't know, like 20th spot or something like that. And I'm like, what? 20? I can't go out at 20th. So I like, boom, I'm back in. And then I just do it again and do it until I win or I get a score or I get a position I'm happy with. And so, yeah, I've been really liking that game. It's not a game that you're going to like sit down and play for hours and hours, at least not for me. I do like 3, maybe 4 runs. Although if you get first place in that game, a run can take a long time because so like just to give you a heads up what you're about to go into, you start off initially you're playing levels in the original Super Mario world. So you start off with the ability to play 1-1. And then as you gain levels, more levels open up, like 1-2 and 1-3, and then you go into World 2 and 3 and all that stuff. And so you can choose your first level. You can choose if you want to power up. I usually go in with the flower. Tip, I will tell you to win, keep the flower power. Like that is the main thing. If you can keep a flower, keep your fire flower going, and just kill Goombas, because as you kill Goombas, they go to other screens. And the only way you can lose is if you die by, jumping in one of those abyss holes or getting hit, or if you run out of time. Every time you hit a Goomba or any enemy, it adds like a few seconds to your clock. And every time you get to a flag, it adds a few seconds. And so those are the only 2 ways you can die. And so if you keep that fire flower going and continually just plow through enemies that people are putting onto your screen, it all works out great. When I lose the firepower, man, that's my goal. Like I don't care about anything anymore other than finding a flower. So anyways, I really, really been liking that game. So try it out and let me know what you think.
Today I'm going to an aquarium with the boy because I didn't really see him last week. I kind of think I saw him Monday morning for 2 hours and Wednesday afternoon. And then that's it. So kind of made a promise to the missus and to the lad that we'd be doing a lot of stuff together this week. So yesterday he had nursery. So I took it upon myself to try and do as much Christmas shopping with Lindsay. I self-isolated. I had to do the big shop. So I had to go and get all the food shop, which is something I hate doing. That's Lindsay's realm. So for me, it was like stressful. But yeah, today we're going to go to the place called The Deep. We have to go see loads of fish and sharks and penguins. And I'd probably play it later on tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Cool. Awesome. So yeah, I've been loving that a lot. And so, let's jump into some Isabel's morning announcements. So, Sean, the Halloween fall update is here. What are your takes? What are you thinking of it?
I'm really enjoying it. I like the introduction to the farming in Animal Crossing, which, to my understanding, is the first time we've ever had anything like this on Animal Crossing. So,
that I can recall,
if this is the start of something like that, it's going to be pretty cool. If you can have different flowers, different vegetables that you craft to create different things, or even like into the realm of different foods and stuff like that. So, which then enters into like, will different foods, will they bring in different buffs? So like a different meal could give you 10 slots of eating fruit rather than just one. So if you want to say you need to bust a load of rocks or lift a load of trees rather than eating 10 apples, you could like maybe make an apple pie, and that instantly ups it. So I don't know. It was just, I think, because like if you eat a turnip, because you can only buy them in 10, so you eat one turnip, it automatically fills your thing up by 10. So I'm wondering if it's just stuff like that, if they can introduce like a buff.
Yeah, that actually is a really good idea. Do you think pumpkins are going away in October, after October? Do you think they're going to wilt and die and that's going to be the end of them?
Possibly.
I think so.
It's all, yeah. I don't know. Oh, I'd like to think not, because it's quite a nice decorative thing to have. And
yeah.
But once you've used all your pumpkins to make all those DIY cards, do you need them anymore?
Yeah, well, I already have a scad load of pumpkins, and I've only harvested once. So, and I only have 40 pumpkins. How many pumpkins do you have, Sean? How many pumpkins?
I have 110 starts. So if I manage to get 3 out of each one, which I did, I had 55 at first, and then I bought another 55 starts thinking that you were only going to be able to take one lot, and then they wouldn't regrow. So I didn't think there was going to be the farming aspect of it. So I bought another 55, planted all those the day before my other ones finished. And so yeah, now I have 110 like pumpkin plots. So yeah, it's 330 every time if I manage to get the free for each one.
That's not a bad idea, the way you're doing it. To like spread it out like that. I never thought about doing that, where you plant, like maybe you plant 20 and then, I don't know. I still think that's probably too many for me. Like maybe 15 one day, 15 one day, 15 one day. So you always have pumpkins growing. Like you're always...
Yeah, it's a bit like your money tree. You can have 4 money trees. So you always have, you have them always growing in an ascending order.
Yeah, I think that's a really smart idea. Not something I did, but it's a really smart idea. Did you get all 4 colors in this first harvest?
Yeah, in the first harvest, I got orange, yellow, white, and green.
Yeah. So orange.
Green seems to be the one that I got less of. So whether or not green is the more rare one, I don't know.
I'm gonna confess that I have not messed with the other colors. To the best of my understanding, you use them in customizing, not because every recipe I got uses orange pumpkins. So to the best of what I can understand, when you customize an item, you use the other colored pumpkins to make them a different color. Is that how you understand it?
I don't know. I've not looked at that. Yeah, I think I made... No, I've not looked at that. So I've got the spooky arch, so I might take that down, try and customize it and see if it does need different colored pumpkins or if I just paint it.
Yeah, because I too got all 4 pumpkins, and everything I've done has needed everything I've crafted. I knew there was a word. Has used just orange. So it's have you been getting the items from Nooks?
Yep, I get my 1 item every day. To the point where, was it yesterday? No, the day before. What day are we on? Sunday night, I had to ask Lindsay to go on my Switch to buy my thing from Nooks for me because I wasn't going to be home in time after work to get to it. So
that was very nice of her to do that for you.
Yeah, it was mainly because I had to go to help my dad a little bit and drop some of her products off, so I was out delivering products and things like that. So I just thought, if I'm doing that for me, she can be really nice and log in. Otherwise, it's a day that I miss. I don't want to miss getting any of the items because obviously with the competition we're running, I kind of want to be able to make a really nice area to advertise that. Yeah. So because my plan for mine, where you've gone for the Witch's Forest, is I don't know if you ever watched Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
Yeah. I'm going to try and make a Hawkins-esque town. So I'm going to have the Hawkins pumpkin patch and then the trees for the upside down and stuff like that. So.
Oh, that's such a good idea. I can't wait to see that. I love it. I'm not going to lie. I just hopped on Animal Crossing. because I felt like we really should have an answer for this, and that is exactly it. So you create something with orange pumpkins, and then you take it in and you customize it. So like I just have a jack-o'-lantern, and so orange he has like a little smile. But then when I go into customize, it not only changes the color to whatever pumpkin you choose, it also changes the face of that pumpkin to be like a smirk or a frown or something like that. And so it changes the color and the face of the pumpkin. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But there's your answer.
So I've got a question for you. And have you got any of the new reactions yet?
No, from the Dirty Time Pirates that I've seen on Twitter, I believe you get those at Halloween. I believe. I don't know for sure, but I haven't gotten them. But if that's not true, I haven't gotten them yet.
No, I haven't got a single one yet. Same with costumes in the Able Sisters. Other than Mage's robes, but I think that's just a normal outfit.
Yeah, I believe so.
Fine, I haven't had any specific Halloween scary ones yet.
So how are you dressed up right now?
I've got some old ragged like villagers clothes. You know, the one that's like it's already got tears in it.
Yeah.
I've got that. I've painted my skin green and I've got red eyes, so I'm literally walking around like a zombie.
Gotcha.
I like to follow my villagers around. I like walk slowly behind them while they're walking quicker.
So for those of you who don't know, you can use Nook Miles now to go and buy new skin colors and new eye colors so that you can now paint yourself purple and green and I don't know, a couple other colors too with different eye colors. So
yeah, it's Tim with the hockey mask standing outside the guy's house.
That was creepy, man.
Just come back to look at that now. That's brilliant. So that's why this is ace, because there's so many different fun things you can do now and create loads of different photos and little small movies. I'm waiting for somebody like, was it Blurpy that used to do the
Bloodstains?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Blurpy that had the bloodstains everywhere.
I'm waiting to see what he does because he made Animal Crossing seem horror-esque without the Halloween. So with Halloween, this should be pretty cool for him. So
yeah, for sure.
He's my if I was to put bets on who's going to come first in the competition, I think my money would be on him so far because he did so well.
So your items from how many DIY cards do you have?
I've got the Spooky Arch. I've got I think I've got 2 or 3. I'm going to double check that now. But yeah, I don't think I've got many.
Yeah, so I've been really hunting for them. I think I got like 5. The only thing I will say about that, I mean, I play a lot. Like if you don't play very often, getting those DIY cards would be a pain. I mean,
yeah.
I try to go on, so you can get, so our listeners know, you can get DIY cards from Balloons. You can get DIY cards, and when I mean DIY cards, I mean the seasonal Halloween cards. You can get DIY Halloween cards from Balloons. You can get them from Villagers. Those are the only 2 places I have currently got them. I have read that you can get them from giving candy to Villagers, but I gave a piece of candy, and I don't know if they just mean at Halloween, but I gave a piece of candy just to try that today, and Ken just looked at me like, well, thanks, and walked away. So, but Ken came from Danstown of cheese, so I blame it on him, which I can do that now.
Ken.
Yeah, I plan to blame everything on Dan now that he's not on the podcast.
You can't just do it. You can't blame the guy that's not here. We do miss you though, Dan. So
that's right.
You know. And I've seen on Discord that you're up, so you could have helped out today.
Yeah. So yeah, I just think the difficulty of getting DIY cards would be frustrating for somebody. Like, I mean, I have friends that, they can't jump on 2 or 3 times a day to look for recipes.
No, I've got 4. So I've got the Lantern Set, the Spooky Tower, the Spooky Arch, and the Spooky Fence.
Oh, you have the fence? I want the fence. I've had people talking about it. I could really use the fence for my Witch's Forest.
I don't know how I don't know how with making a spooky fence you can use pumpkins, but it chews up a lot of pumpkins.
Does it really? Well, luckily you have 110 starts, so you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
But does it make you 10? Does it make you 10 fences?
Yeah, it doesn't make you 10 panels. So I think I made 40 the other day, and I've kind of fenced off my pumpkin patch with spooky pumpkin fencing.
Nice. So when do you think they're going to roll out new costumes?
I think maybe the week leading up to Halloween, just so then you can start collecting them, because obviously there'll be a few, aren't there? So Abel's kind of has, you tend to get like the 6 color variants of everything. So if they were wanting you to try and collect them all, I think it'd be like that.
You just stressed me out by thinking of that.
Yeah. So I've seen on Instagram while we've been posting stuff that there's people in the community out there that have time traveled and collected everything, or been given things from people that have time traveled to collect them all. And they're some pretty cool looking costumes. So
yeah, I can't wait to see that. Yeah, I mean, the community is crazy. I mean, the fact that I hopped on Twitter, I don't know, it was like October 1st, and somebody had like this whole decorative Halloween themed island because they have like time traveled to get the DIY cards and done everything and had the reactions, and then somehow had time to craft stuff and lay it all out in like no time. I mean, it always amazes me how ravenous the Animal Crossing, it shouldn't still amaze me, but it still does, how ravenous they can be when just like getting stuff done immediately. Those time travelers.
It kind of ruins the game for me doing that. That's the one reason why the only time I've done any time traveling, it was to move the island around, because that's the only part of the game I find a bit frustrating, is waiting a day to move objects. But for going forward to try and collect everything, it's not something I'm going to do. I know I've missed a couple of bugs and maybe a few fish, so it's like, oh well, I'll wait till next time they all come round, sort of stuff. So I don't want to go too far forward and ruin everything.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, I also agree. You can play the game. I used to think that like it was cheating, but I don't really think that anymore. You can play the game however you want. If time traveling is your gig, good for you. But I'm with you. It's not really mine. I will say in the vein of moving stuff around, I took time to count. I have spent $350,000 moving my campsite 7 different times throughout this game so far. Like, it's just a ridiculous amount of money that I've spent just moving this stupid campsite all over the place. It's the one building. I've moved all the buildings a couple times, but the campsite, for some reason, always I'm like, no, I don't want it here. No, I want it over here. No, I want it over here. And I just moved it again this week because I was like, no, I need a proper home to be my witch's cabin, and a campsite's not going to do it. So I moved So my campsite was in the witch's forest, so I moved it out and moved my home in there, decorating it more like a witch's cabin. So, yeah, it's just funny. Like, seriously, 350,000 bells moving a campsite around. It makes me laugh. But I am interested in costumes. I'm currently a jester. I was a witch. I used the scarecrow hat or the ragged hat and the ancient brown kimono, which didn't really fit, but it worked out pretty good. And the mage's boots or whatever those are. So it worked out pretty good. But yeah, I want some legit costumes.
The mage's boots are the one thing that I haven't got for the mage's set. I've got the black hood, I've got the black, but I haven't got the black boots.
Well, if I can send those to you, I will. I can't remember if they're just an Abel's item that I can send, but if I can, I'll totally send them to you.
Yeah.
What's podcasting friends for?
So, and the other thing is candy. I don't like. Well, no, I can see why they've done it, because it's going to be a big currency on Halloween is candy, isn't it? So limiting it to one a day doesn't stop you. And I thought about this. Doesn't stop you buying it, going back a day, buying it from the previous day, coming back to the day you're now on, and buying it again. So for people who like to time travel, you could probably get a lot of candy.
Yeah, you could also just do it the other way and make some friends and go to their islands. So
Yeah.
But that does take time, and I keep meaning to do that on my son's account and just zip over there and get 2 candies a day. But to be honest, I just keep forgetting to do it. By the time I think I'm going to go and do that, it's way past Nook's time, and it's closed, and it's all done. So currently, I've just been getting my 1 candy a day. And like I said, I gave my 1 candy a day I gave my 1 piece of candy away today to a villager who didn't care about it and didn't give me anything for it. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I've got 12. But that's because I've been doing what Lindsay's playing it again. So
nice.
We've been hopping between each of his islands buying candy.
Yeah, I got to get better at that because I'm pretty sure there's going to be Halloween furniture involved with this. That's just my guess. Not time traveled. I don't know. That's my guess that you're going to get Halloween furniture. So, hey, why don't we head over to the dad corner? I think we've had enough Animal Crossing talk. What do you say?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, so we asked our community, is there anything that your kids do that drives you insane? And we got some responses, Sean. We really did.
We got some responses.
Our kids...
Got 3 of them.
Yeah, our kids drive us insane.
Yes, yeah, definitely. That's what they're there for. That's what we purely and simply got close and intimate with our special spouse and birthed these little people that, like, basically little us, just on this. Their desire and their main purpose on this planet is to drive us insane.
Yeah.
That's it. It's
yeah.
torture. We decided we wanted to torture ourselves until, forever.
Forever. Parenting. Torturing yourself forever. All right. Chris HL94 from Discord says, the one thing my kids do that drives me crazy is when they play video games and they fight and argue over who is player 1 or 2, to the point where they won't play if they don't get their way. I don't understand why it is so important.
Now, very quickly with that one, I was the eldest of 2 boys. So I was player 1.
That's how it went. It was like, that's just how it should be.
That's it. I'm older than you, so I'm player 1. This is my console. I'm older. I am player 1. I used to have this exact argument with my brother all the time.
Sean's like, it's my birthright.
Yeah. But now I think back to it, I'm like, why? Why did we have this argument all the time? But back then it was player 1 tended to set the game up and choose the track. So Mario Kart was the one that we used here at IO. So it was like, well, I want to choose the track. I want to be this driver. You're not allowed to do this one, which my go-to was always Yoshi. So yeah, I kind of had that same argument all the time. I don't know why. I think it was just dominance, which most kids, it's always want to be the alpha. So
yeah, my kids don't have this argument right now because my daughter's not old enough. So my daughter's more than happy to let my son kind of set stuff up for her, and they play together that way. They do have this argument, though, when they're playing a board game. Like if you get out a game of Match or Trouble or something like that, yeah, they'll fight to the death to see who starts first. Like it doesn't even really matter that much. And I try to impress on them in the game of Match. You know, if you go first, it's really not a benefit. Like you have no idea what the board looks like. Going second is better. Or third is even better than that. No, they don't get it. They still want to go first. So I get it there. I haven't come to the point yet in video games where they fight about it, but I'm sure it'll happen. It happens in board games, so it's about.
See, I think it's different with modern video games now. I think they kind of worked out that anybody can choose to do anything. So like I'm thinking about Smash. So if you set a 4-player matchup on Smash on your TV, anybody can choose the level.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's kind of like it then brings in the veto of, well, I don't want to play this level. I don't want to play that level. Okay, well, we'll play this level. So kind of like, rather than, well, I'm the one that chooses, so shut your face, I'm playing it anyway.
Now you just have the time, and this happens all the time when I have like a group of kids, like when friends are over and there's like 5 kids playing, and I'm like, who's touching the controller? Put it down. like I have been in ultimate yell mode, like, just put the controllers down, because somebody's playing with the buttons and I'm trying to set this up. So yeah, I've been there before. So, but you're right, the player one doesn't have as much control as they did back in the day. That's true. What does Frosticles have to say, Sean?
So Frosticles, bless him. My kids wake up early in the morning and steal food. I don't just mean snacks. They will sit there and eat butter, Nutella, or anything they can get their hands on. He doesn't really ask a question as to, like, is there anything I can do to stop this? I mean, it did in the Discord go on to say that, like, they'd put childproof locks and like childproof devices on the cupboards and stuff to stop them from doing it, but he just doesn't understand why. Now,
okay,
neither do I. That's a crazy. Well, it's not crazy. I mean, I know I used to sneak biscuits all the time. I used to walk past my mum and like and in the living room and like speak to her, walk into the kitchen, and then like walk back out and try not to touch anything because I had crisp packets, something like packets of crisps up my jumper and it'd rustle. And she now tells me that because my little boy does the same. He's like, he's polite with it. He'll come up to you and he goes, please, can I have something? So he's really polite with it. But like my mum says, I was the same. If I didn't get what I wanted when I asked for it as a kid, I used to just go in and sneak the biscuits. So
yeah, I will say this. Nutella's not in our house because I would sneak it too if it was, okay? Like, I am so addicted to that stuff. It's ridiculous. I see these Nutella commercials where they're like, here's a strawberry and this minute little dab of Nutella on the tip of this. I'm like, no, come on. Who is actually eating that strawberry, putting like a dot of Nutella on the corner? Like, mine looks like a mountain of Nutella. You don't even know there's a strawberry under all the Nutella. So I'm down with Nutella. I'd probably sneak it too, Frosticles, if I was at your house. But for my kiddos, the only story I have about that is my son, who, he doesn't do this anymore, but the one time he was getting older and able to do stuff on his own. It's probably a year or two ago. And I was like, he said he was hungry, and I was like, well, you always have a bag of muffins. Just go out and have some muffins. Okay. So he went out and did his thing, and I didn't think anything of it. We were asleep, we were just like, it was the morning. It was too early, just like with him. My son gets up way too early, just like with Frosticles. And I come out there like a half an hour later, and Noah is like laying on the couch like a bear with like an entire box of muffin bags just like laying all around him. And I'm like, did you really just eat like 5 muffin bags? And he was like, you said I could have some like, you could tell he's like physically pained by the amount of muffins he shoved in his stomach. And I'm like, Noah, muffins means like muffins in one bag, not like bags of muffins. And he's like, oh, he never did it again. But I will never forget that. It was hilarious.
I'm not surprised. Poor kid, it probably felt horrific.
Yeah.
It's like you ever see the scene from Big Daddy with Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
And he kind of just lets the kid eat his way through the table to fall asleep. That's pretty much how I imagine him.
Yeah. That's like 20. What did it be? There's like 5 bags. Yeah, it's 25 mini muffins that my son plowed through in like half an hour one morning.
I tip my cap to him. That's an awesome feat. It's such a small age. See, Logan won't do that. He's, like I say, he's really polite. He'll create up if we say no. So, like, I can guarantee you this morning he'll have his breakfast and then he'll instantly go, can I have some sweets? I'd be like, no, you can have some fruit. It's morning time. So like in the morning, you have breakfast. If you're still hungry, we're like, have some fruit. I'll give you some toast. You can have some bread. So try and stick to the healthier options. But yeah, he'll literally just throw himself on the floor and just like, so, but yeah, a kid likes to eat. So
Yeah, man, can't blame him. All right, Ebiasel says, I ask my kids a normal question, and they act like I accuse them of starting a thermonuclear war. For example, hey, what's that? Response, don't be such a tozer. Also, their inability to agree on a movie to watch.
I like the fact that the word there isn't tozer, it's tozer. It's very English, as in.
Oh, help me out here! I had no idea.
Yeah, so it's not a very nice word. How do I explain this?
No, how do I explain this in a dad crossing way? British people, I tell you, help me out. Make me look less like it was too late now, but next time make me look less like it.
Somebody pulls out on you while you're driving. What would your instant response be to that? Like, you'd say jerk.
Wait, what?
So yes. Kiddos, cover your ears because I'm about to explain. It's basically self-relief.
Yes, I just looked at.
Sorry.
Damn you, Ebiasel! Oh wait, I can't say that on here either. What have you done to me? You've ruined this podcast.
Oh dear, he's gone there already.
He's fired from ever asking a question. I will say this. I will say the inability to agree on a movie to watch. This is Netflix's fault, and it happens with my kids all the time. There's like this analysis paralysis of options, and they're always like this and that, and what do you want to watch? Usually my son wins out just because he's older, and he knows how to use the remote better. But yeah.
See, that's marriage. The inability to agree on a movie to watch is marriage. That's it. We do it all the time. Me and Lindsay do it all the time. So like, we like to watch box sets. So we'll get to the end of a box set and we're like instantly, like you said, we've got choice paralysis. So we're looking at like, what should we watch? What should we watch? Should we watch this? Should we watch this? No, I'm not keen. I don't like the idea of that. So like, we've watched the same set of box sets about 3 times over now. We kind of go from Breaking Bad to Dexter, House. So we kind of just make his way around. We're watching the same things all the time. So it's just something to put on. We kind of put it on. We don't watch it because we end up talking or organizing stuff. Or I'll sit and play on the Switch. She'll be promoting a business and stuff like that online. So It's kind of like just something to have in the background. But we could never agree. So.
See, that's us. That's us with restaurants. With movies, like with movies, it's like no big deal because I don't really care. I'm gonna play the Switch, and she's actually gonna watch it. So when it comes to movies or shows, I'm like, you pick it. I'll just sit here and somewhat pay attention to it while I play the Switch, and we're all good. But with restaurants, I swear to goodness, now this is leaving because the kids don't usually get this much of a choice. This will probably be a problem when they get older, but I swear, I'm like, well, I could go for this. And she's like, I don't want that. And I'm like, well, okay, well, how about this? And she's like, no. And I'm like, well, you pick. Well, why do you just leave it up to me? What? I just gave you 2 choices. Like, I didn't leave it up to you. I gave you 2 choices. You turned them both down. So now I'm like, okay, you choose. And she's like, well, just leave it up to me then. That's fine. That's our life when it comes to restaurant picking.
So on the next podcast, what we're going to cover is what do you things do that your spouses do that drive you into?
It's evolved into that in real quick time.
But
hey, why don't you read the next one? Because I just said a bad word on our podcast and had no idea I said it, even though I didn't say it right.
Just to finish off with Ebiasel is I know how he feels. There's something that Jaya does that drives me absolutely mad. Is that like I'll ask her a question. And the amount of sass I get back and attitude it's just a teenage thing. So I don't know how old your kids are, Ebiasel, but I get that from my teenager at the moment. And I can only relate that, like she'll do something and I'll say to her, yeah, but I told you that. She goes, yeah, I know. So well, if you know, then why did you do it? And she'll just stare at me. And it's like, great. This is communication. So, yeah, I feel for you there, Ebiasel. So
can't wait for my kids to be teens.
Yeah. So Tim from the Nintendo Dads got in touch and he said, the thing that drives me insane is not staying in bed. Like, dude, you already said goodnight to me 5 million times. Just stay in bed. He then goes on to say, what does he do about it? If it's really tough for him to stay in bed, he'll say he'll go in his room, he'll sit and talk to him for a little bit. And the reason behind that, his wife says that his voice can be quite soothing, so it helps him get to sleep quite easily. So, and it says it works every time. So, which I can get. Tim's got a nice voice to listen to, and I'm listening to the podcast. He's not very deep. He's not very. He's quite a well-spoken gentleman. So, I'll put that.
That needs to be his tagline. Tim, kind of a well-spoken gentleman. I like it. This is sometimes a problem for us. Not a ton, but especially when like we have friends over. Like when I have a friend over, it's not actually their uncle, but they call him Uncle Trevor. It's just a good family friend, and we're playing games, and so Noah plays for a little bit, but it's his bedtime, and then Noah gets ushered to bed, and he knows we're still playing games. Like then he will do this, like, I had to go to the bathroom, so he comes out. He's like, oh, I forgot this animal. So then he comes out to go get this like stuffed animal that he just like tries to dig out from the bottom of the couch to find. And there's like 5 million excuses to come out and see whatever game we are playing until finally like either me or mom yell at him like, no, there's no reason to come out of the room. Don't come out again. Stop making excuses.
Yeah. We don't really get it with Logan. He gets, like, last night I tried to put him to bed and he started crying because he wanted to say goodnight but wouldn't say goodnight. And it's like, well, you're the person that's stopping yourself from doing that. And I had that same issue with my youngest daughter. She'd do exactly the same. So like, you'd read her a book, we get tucked in, she'd like have all cuddly teddies and stuff with her, and then like, it's like, right, I'm going to say goodnight then because I'm going downstairs. She'll just sit there. It's like, okay, well, I'm going downstairs. I'm going to say goodnight. And I go to walk away. And she goes, no, I want to say goodnight. Well, then, no, I'm say goodnight then. And nothing. That drove us all insane because it lasted for 3 years. And it went on to like, sometimes we just walk away, and walking away, you start. She goes nuclear and she's screaming, she's shouting, she's throwing teddies out the bedroom door because she wants to say goodnight. And it's like, but Logan will do it at bedtime. If Lindsay takes Logan to bed, he's like, you can hear, I listen to it over the baby monitor, and they read the book together, and she talks to him for a little bit about what they're going to do tomorrow. And then he's like, okay, mummy, all right, I love you, mummy, good night, mummy, I love you. And then like, I try and do it, and he's like, just, no. It's like I have to strap him down and sedate him just to get him to calm down. And so like, yeah, last night was awful trying to put him to bed. I hadn't seen him for so long. It's like I hadn't put him to bed for 6 nights. So, which could have been the reason. He probably was just excited that I was there. So, but yeah, we feel your pain with the bedtime thing. The other one that drives me.
Go ahead, sorry.
The other thing that drives me mad, and he did it this morning, is he just burst into the bedroom door. So like 4 o'clock this morning. So for anybody that listens knows that I get up early for this. So I get up at about 25 to 5, obviously trying to steal as much time in bed as I can before I come on and do the podcast. But at 4 o'clock this morning, Logan decides he wants to full on SWAT style kick the bedroom door through. Swings it flying open, comes right up to me, taps me on the face and goes, Daddy, I can't find my bunnies. In the pitch black, I can't find my bunnies. So like with that, I have to get up and like use the torchlight on my phone so I'm not disturbing everybody else to try and find his little cuddly bunnies that he goes to bed with. Get him there, laid him down. He was like, is it daytime? No, not yet. It's 4 a.m. Go back to sleep. So yeah.
That actually was one of mine. That's a good unplanned segue, because next thing was going to be what drives you insane about your kiddos. Both of my kids went to McDonald's and got this stupid Happy Meal toy called a Techno Troll. Okay, it's like one of the trolls from the Troll movie. I think it's a DreamWorks movie. I can't remember actually, but anyways, it's pretty. It's the Troll movies, and it's a specific troll called a Techno Troll. It's just a plastic troll with like green rope, a blue plastic troll with green rope coming out of its head, and this thing is like the most important thing they've ever gotten in their entire lives. It's ridiculous. Out of all the stuff they've received, literally tonight, this was unplanned. They've just done this numerous times now. But tonight, I come home after working late at the office, and my daughter is screaming. And I'm like, what's going on? And my wife looks at me exasperated, and she's like, she lost her Techno Troll. And like the world, I swear, I don't understand why this plastic toy has gleamed so much to these kids. And I mean, man, when it gets lost, it's the worst thing in the world. It's crazy. I don't even understand it. I can't. I've tried.
Yeah. So he is that bad. We lost Logan's fixation is Cars. So the Disney's Cars films.
Oh, sure.
And so he's got loads of the die-cast cars, which like he's got a lot of now. And with Christmas and his birthday coming up soon, that's getting even bigger because we've bought him a couple more. We've even bought him. It's about 50 centimeters long.
Okay.
Big, huge Jackson Storm.
Well, like a huge car. It's like a huge car.
It's. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's literally 50 centimeters long by about 25 to 30 centimeters wide. It's huge. That's
awesome.
But anyway, so when he first started out liking it, we kind of got him a couple, and he had a Mater. He's got several different little Lightning McQueens, but we got him a Jackson Storm because like we were shopping, we just got him a little normal diecast 125th Jackson Storm. And in his old bedroom, he used to stand on an ottoman and look out of his bedroom window and like look at all the cars at the front of the house because that's like it faces the front road. So he used to watch all like the garbage trucks come in and like people walking the dogs and stuff like that. And then one day, like just this big scream came out of the bedroom, and I was like, "Oh God, he's fallen!" So like, I ran into the bedroom, like, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" And he's there, Jackson Storm, can't find Jackson Storm, and it's like. I was like, oh, God. Okay, right. So I started looking for it because I know how important this car is to him. I couldn't find it anywhere, literally nowhere in the house. I turned the entire house upside down. Even the wife started, and she's like, where can it be? And she's like, is it in your car? So like I went into the car, like other than ripping the seats out of the car, I turned the car inside out. So I can't find it anywhere. So I went on, like this car originally cost us £3.50. So I went on Amazon and had a look, and because it was becoming quite a rare collector's edition for these cars, I paid £14 to replace it. So an extortionate amount of money for a little car and like the car came and yeah, absolutely fine. He was over the moon. His nursery, we then changed it around and decorated it a little bit for my eldest daughter so she could have it as a bedroom. So as I went to lift the radiator off the wall to lay it down on the floor to touch the paint up behind it, what falls out of the back of the radiator? The £3.50 Jackson Storm. So and like I literally sat there on the floor and I shouted at the wife, and she came in. She's like, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" And I was like, "I found Jackson Storm," and he was there. It's just so now he's got that. He's got 4 now in total. But yeah, that was the.
It's just crazy. It's funny you mentioned buying another one because my wife said, I'm going to Goodwill. I'm going to Goodwill this weekend, and they always have those plastic toys around. So I'm going to see if I can find like a few of those Techno Trolls so that we won't have to listen to them scream. And I was like, no. I was like, you have to be kidding me. You're going to go buy like replacements of these Techno Trolls? I was like, this is getting ridiculous. I was like, we just got to call it a day. But so I don't know if she ever did or not. But yeah, it's just crazy, man.
The stuff you do for your kids.
I know.
Um,
All right. Well,
so,
go for it.
I was going to say, just show you, have a look and see what people have left for us on our Villagers bulletin board.
Let's do it.
So before we go into the community questions, we'll go through the thing that we usually say for in the Discord, which is obviously thank you to everybody. So I'll start off with that.
Sounds good. Excuse me while I go punch Ebicel in the throat.
Oh no! Can't believe it. Yeah, but I can't believe that his kids call him a tosser.
I've never heard of. I really thought it was. Why do I think that there was a tozer? I don't know why. I thought that was the way it was pronounced, and I didn't think it was that. So, well,
No.
Live and learn. That'll be a good one for the podcast.
It's you hear it more in London. It's more of a London thing. For the Yorkshireman, you're a wanker.
Yeah, I would have known what that was.
Yeah.
Oh, have you? Okay, I don't know. Do you get Apple Plus? Do you watch Apple TV?
I don't watch Apple. No, we've got everything, every other streaming service. But
Oh my god, there's this show on there called Ted Lasso, and he is a American football coach who like has some success, and this down and out England soccer team picks him up to be their coach, and he has absolutely no idea, and so he starts out and no idea how to run a soccer team. And like when he walks on the field, everybody in the stadium starts calling him a wanker and like just like chanting it. But then the funniest thing is through the series, he starts to become beloved. And he's like, he reached over to his assistant coach and he says, "We've won a lot of games now." He's like, "Now there's going to be different." And so he walks out and everybody still chants that he's a wanker. And he's like, why is everybody still calling me a wanker? And the one English coach reached over, he's like, "Yeah, but now they're doing it with inflection. It's a good thing now. Don't worry."
Oh yeah, we can be really confusing. It's like like when you walk through the locker room, like when we walk through the locker room at work on a morning, you'd think people hate you with some of the stuff like we shout at each other. So there's one guy, it's called Paul Lyford. He's a really nice guy, but everybody like literally says, "Morning, Lyford, you cunt." But it's just like I don't know why. It's just he's got a bit of an accent because he's not from around here. So, but it's kind of just what we
Yeah, it's just that show has really made me laugh a lot. A lot. All right, I'll let you start it off.
So before we look at the community questions, we would like to thank all the Patreon members and the Nintendo Dads for hanging out with us on Discord. You are all seriously the best community on the internet, and we love you so much. And we say this every time we're on, but we really do. It's a fantastic community. I've not come across anything like it anywhere else, so it's brilliant. If you're interested in joining the community and want to chat with us, it says the three of us. But anyway, if you want to chat with us, plus a whole bunch of other Animal Crossing fans, you can join us all on the action for as little as $1 a month over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. It's a ace. I'd do it. It's a great little
awesome
community. For $1 a month, it's an awesome little thing. So
for sure.
But yeah. So the first question out of two that we got from people today is from Zach Blank. So here's a weird thing. In my massive pumpkin farm, all the grown pumpkins are single pumpkins. But then I have assorted pumpkins growing on my island, some next to one another as well. And they were all double pumpkins. What is up with that?
Well,
so is he talking how much he hasn't watered them?
Yeah. Yeah. So John, you need to water them every day. Are you watering them every day? Got to go out there, water them but that's weird. So there is something. We need some more background here. If he did, then I don't have a good answer for his question. Like if you watered them every day and that's still what happened. But if you're just like, if that's the thing, you only water them once or twice, you got to water them all 3 days. That's
I don't think there's any correlation as well if you've got like if somebody else comes to your island and waters them. Because I know with some flowers, this is going back to the botanist days.
Yeah.
With some flowers, if like say you, Nick, came to my island and watered them, the increased chance of them sprouting a special, like a hybrid, was greater. So I don't know if that's the same. So if you ever have visitors, try it. You never know. Could improve your chances of them all being a triple pumpkin rather than a double.
Yeah. And either way, you don't have to water them anymore. So there you go.
Yeah. I'll just make it rain all the time. So the way to make it rain all the time, like Nick, who was lucky enough to have it rain.
Yeah, that was great. Didn't happen this time around, but the first 3 days were great. That was fantastic. I am glad to have rain back, by the way. Yeah, we went through a really long dry patch, pun intended.
So the other question is another one from Ebucel. So I'll read this out.
Yeah, you should read it. Make sure just censor it first.
Yeah. So he asked the question of why do some DIYs have a foil background? So, and I've noticed this, that some have different colors, some do look to be a little bit more shiny than others. They have different patterns. I think you kind of answered this already for him in the Discord. So do you want to run through that answer?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say is that I think the background, the foil background is just to denote that what series they're in. So if you go into your DIY section on your phone and you press the Y button, you can get it to sort your DIYs by series. That's, I believe, legitimately what they call it. And if you do that, then you'll see that all the backgrounds have the same color for each series. And so I just think that's their way of denoting that these are in a series, because it's not as easy as it was in previous Animal Crossings to see a series. Like, you mean, it used to be just like there was the green furniture and the ranch furniture, and I don't know, the series just made more sense. And this one doesn't have that same feel. So like all the ironwood stuff is in one, has the same background, and all the wood, the like wood block furniture has the same background. And I think that's the only reason that that's there.
Yeah, what I will say now, looking through them very carefully, is that I've got a rustic stone wall, and the background on the rustic stone wall is light grey with the acorns and the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Now, right next to that, exactly the same colour background, is the basement flooring, which I believe is quite a special one to have. That the acorns on that one are shiny and glittering. And it's the same with the lunar surface, which I've got from Celeste. The acorns on that are shining. Classic library walls, the same. So there is a couple that, like...
I see your point. I do see your point, Sean. As I'm looking at it now, just looking at the spooky stuff, my spooky lantern and my spooky lantern set you're right. The foil is shinier in the background than the other three.
Is that because you've made them?
You're totally right. Those are the ones with check marks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go. We've gone further than actually saying, it's just because it's a special series. The acorns on the background change from basically grayed out to looking all nice and shiny when you've built the DIY.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly it. Way to go. Look at us. Man.
Yeah.
Solving Animal Crossing mysteries here. It's like we're an Animal Crossing podcast or something.
But it's actually something that I'd never really looked at. But now, like, thanks to Ebucel, it's like, wow, I kind of want them all to be shiny, so I best build everything now.
I know, right? Yeah, this is totally true. Yeah, so the color of the background denotes the series, and then if the acorn is shiny, that means, and you can also see it by the check mark in the bottom right if you're looking at the stuff. But yeah, if the acorns are shiny, you've made it. If they're not, then you haven't. Good job, Ebucel. Well, as my friend here gets over the yawns, we are going to move into our gaming topic of the week.
So yeah, the gaming topic for this week is what we're looking at picking up towards the holidays. Now we're in fall, usually when all the big games start to be announced and start hitting the shelves. So it's like we're looking at things that we're going to be picking up. So what kind of games or consoles are you looking at picking up towards the Christmas period?
I have a ton of stuff. I'm not going to lie. I'm very, very excited for the upcoming holiday season. Starting actually next Friday starts my period of excitement is the Home Circuit Live. That's the little thing, the little car that can be controlled by your Switch. It's got the camera. It's got all the augmented reality. Your own home can become your Mario track. I bought one of those, and if it's as cool as I hope it is, and it works like I see in the new, especially some of the new trailers that have dropped this last week or recently, man, every time I see it, it just looks cooler and cooler. I don't know if my home. We could probably do it, but it won't be as fun as we can go to our church and use their gym. I can get in there on the weekdays and use the gym, and so I'm really excited to do some stuff like that and be able to make like a gigantic track from using that and see how that works. And then if it's really cool, there's probably going to be one that shows up, and if Noah's still into it during Christmas time, and I can find them, all those things come into play, I will definitely pick up another one for him probably at Christmas.
Yeah, you see, we don't have a lot of hard floors in the house, and during the lockdown, we did a lot of decorating. So I've got all new, like, really deep pile carpets now, pretty much throughout the whole house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to work very well on that. I know Logan's remote control Lightning McQueen that we got him is absolutely useless on the living room carpet. It just does not do anything. It just digs itself in. So I'd love to get them. My dad even actually on Facebook, my dad tagged me in the video for it and said, how good are these? And I was like, which usually means he kind of looked at it as a present for me for Christmas. And sure. I kind of like said to him, oh yeah, they are really good. They're quite expensive, but I don't think it'd be very good in our house, because basically the only place we've got to do it is the kitchen, because between the kitchen and the hallway, which is like a hardwood floor, it steps up. So can't even use that. So I'd be able to use this room that I'm in, which is like 15 foot by 12 foot, which isn't a right lot of room.
No, they did. In the last trailer, they pushed against that. You could tell, because I think they were getting a lot of feedback of like, well, our room's not big enough. And so I don't know if you watched it, where they were like, you just need a room. I think it was like 10 by 12, or I can't remember entirely. And they were showing configurations with the cardboard, track setup area, that you could do it in small. You could get the feeling that like they were hearing that a lot. Like, my room's not big enough for this.
But you're not going to get I think these are going to be fun if you can get them going at speed.
I agree with you.
So that's I'd like to pick it. It's fantastic. I love that Nintendo always push the boat for this, like, new and interesting stuff. So like you have, like, with the Wii Fit, they were the first one to walk into that realm of things like that. But yeah, it'd be nice to see if you do like an unboxing video and a bit of a review, and just like to see what you could do with it. But it's fun.
I'll see if one of the dads are picking it up, and if not, maybe I'll do something. I will say I had the RC cars. So they had, I don't know if you've seen these, they were like $30, I want to say, like $29.99, right around there, maybe $25, and they looked exactly like a Mario Kart, almost close to what the car looks like now, except one of the things was the wheels would flip out like they do in Mario Kart 8 when you get on like the blue track.
Yeah, I was literally looking at one of those yesterday in Smith's.
Yeah, so I am wondering if they work similar, because if they do, those cars actually work better with like a medium carpet, because like we have hardwood through most of the upstairs, and the wheels go so fast on that cart that it won't grip on the hard surface, and so it ends up kind of just spinning because its wheels can't seem to grip. So I mean, but I'm hoping for $100. If you're putting $100 USD into that car, I'm hoping that they kind of used that car as a prototype and did some things to make it work a little bit better and on different types of carpet. I do agree. I don't think it's going to work on like really thick carpet, even if they have. But yeah, I'm hoping they've done that.
Sounds like they need to make sure that the tires are rubberized a little bit more and there's a bit of weight to take it.
So let's go back and forth. What's one of your things?
See, I picked it up yesterday while I was at Smith's and then put it down because I kind of don't have the £40 spare to throw at a game. So, especially when I've got BioShock with the swap shop, Animal Crossing that's taken up a lot of time, and I've still got a lot of time to put into the 3D All Stars, and now finally downloaded the Super Mario 35 PvP game. So I was going to get Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake because those games kind of took up a lot of my time as a youth. So I used to skate as a kid. So it was kind of like the only way when it was raining outside in the UK to skate was play Tony Hawk. So, and it kind of introduced me a lot of my music tastes as well. So to my punk rock and like Mad Capsule Markets and kind of stuff like that. So I was going to pick it up and the wife was like, oh yeah, just get it. We'll just use the like we have a joint account pot that we use. And she's like, oh, I'll just use that. It's fine. It's only £40. I was like, no, it's fine. There's the principle behind it. I've currently got a couple of games that I'm playing plus games that I'd like to pick up and play and that I've like downloaded and stuff. So I said, no, I'll leave it. So potentially might end up getting that for my birthday, which is in December. Which kind of sucks sometimes because you get a birthday and then Christmas. But so yeah, I've got that. And I
for $40, do you get both of them?
Yes.
Oh, that's a pretty good deal. I mean, I know they're older games, but still, that's a pretty good deal.
They are older games, but they have literally redone them from the ground up. All the same levels, but they've made all the skaters that they used in it. So like they've made Tony Hawk rather than him looking like the young Tony Hawk, they've made him look the age that he is now, and Steve stuff like that. And then they've added other characters so you can play as Jack Black.
Really?
So like a couple of celebrities that were really big into the game when they were younger have kind of like come forward and they've brought new age skaters. So like Nigel Houston, you can play as him in it now, and Letitia Buffon and stuff like that. So even female skaters, which there wasn't any of, I think, at the time. So they kind of added quite a lot to it, and they've really done the graphics. The graphics are amazing on it. So they've like took it from the 64-bit pixelated looking triangle noses and stuff like that, and really like giving it the overhaul. So it's definitely worth £40.
Sure. Yeah, sounds like it.
So, but the other thing I was also looking at while I was there was trying to buy an Xbox Series X. So
you can still get a pre-order of an Xbox Series X?
They said they could, yeah. It was all the other posters up and everything. I didn't inquire because if I'd have inquired, I'd have pulled the trigger and done it. So, yeah, they were saying for a £25 deposit, you could have pre-ordered it yesterday.
Man, well, we can talk about that. I did pre-order an Xbox Series S because I just felt like that was more of what fit what I'm looking to do with Game Pass and pretty much just staying on Game Pass and not buying any games. We'll see if that actually holds true. But and I mean, I don't really have any time. I went back and forth about even pre-ordering it because I don't have any time really. I mean, I play the Switch predominantly, and that takes up most of my time. But here I am. I pulled the trigger on it. Sorry, Alexa, Siri's trying to talk to me for some reason. Here I am. I went in and pre-ordered it. I am when I was thinking about doing it, I was kind of like, this will be fun, whatever. But man, now that I've pre-ordered it, I am pretty pumped to get it and actually see what it's all about and play it and take a look at it. So I'm looking forward to that. What is that? November 10th, I think.
Yeah. See, before we started this, you were on about how you don't have a 4K ready TV, so you weren't kind of. My TV in the living room was bought specifically for the consoles that I own.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it's the TV we've got. The only thing that's not great about it is it's not OLED. It's just LED because it's the difference between paying £500 for a TV and paying £2,500 for a TV. It's OLED. So, but it's all 4K UHD because, like, with the GoPros and stuff, you can stick them straight up to the TV, and I like to watch a lot of David Attenborough style docu-series and things like that. So I really like the bright colors. So I kind of went all in for the TV. So I'm definitely going to be going all in for the console.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm interested though. Have you bought it outright, or have you gone down the route of the monthly payment?
No, to be fair, I really thought about doing the monthly payment thing with an X. So it was either buy an S outright or, well, there were three options. Buy an S outright, buy an X outright, and spend pretty much all of the fun money I have for like the rest of the year. Or do this this payment plan. And I really, I was on the fence on the payment plan or just buying an S outright, but I didn't want to be beholden to the Citizen First or whatever, Citizen One, whatever this bank is that Xbox has gone through for this program. $35. I just didn't want to. I just ended up not wanting to do that. I just wanted to own it and then be able to do with it what I please. There's no, you're paying it for 2 years. There's only a 1-year warranty on it. There were a lot of things that was kind of like, well, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that had me a little nervous about doing it. So I just went with the S. It's cheaper. Yeah. You don't even want to see the TV that it's going to be hooked up to. It's a sad, sad thing. It's down here in my basement. I don't have plans to bring it upstairs because if I bring it upstairs, I'm going to be hounded incessantly by Noah wanting to see it or play it or, all that jazz. So I literally plan to buy it and hide it down here and just play it at night when the fam's in bed. So
yeah, if I'm going to do it, because I already pay for the Game Pass, which is £11 a month. Mm-hmm. So I already pay for that, which includes my gold membership. So it's the Game Pass Ultimate that I've got at the moment. So they call it Xbox All Access. Now, I'm only going to say this because if for people that are on the fence like me and they don't fully understand it, if you are going to get a Game Pass, if you have an Xbox and you're going to get Game Pass Ultimate and online, it's £11 a month. In the UK, it's £28 a month if you want the console. The Series X console, it's £28 a month, which is £17 more than just having the Game Pass Ultimate. If you add that up for the 24 months, you pay, I think it's like £50 less for the console than you would if you bought it outright. So you do make a saving. Yes, you only have 12 months warranty, but if you went out and dumped £500 on this console, you're only going to have 12 months warranty anyway.
You're right. No. I get the lot. You're totally right about that. And you're not the only person that said that. You're like, well, but you're not. You are beholden to pay for that Ultimate, even if your console dies. Even if you do something to your console dies after 12 months. Yeah. How I understand it.
Yeah, you are. It's like a mobile phone contract. If you smash the phone to pieces, you've still got to pay for that handset because you've entered into that contract. But with my history with Xboxes is I had the Xbox Crystal, the original Xbox, but I had it in the Crystal. I actually put that in my car. So I built it into the boot of my car because it had all my music on. Built it into the boot of my car and wired a little DVD screen into the glove box. So when you drop the glove box down, you could pull the controller out, which was wired all the way to the back of the car, and the person in the passenger seat could play the console while I was driving. So I did that. I then had the Xbox 360, and I had the original 360, it was all wireless because they did the two. They did a wired version or a wireless version. Never suffered with the red ring of death ever. And then I got day one release Xbox One. We still have that. The Xbox One is fine, but the power pack died. So that's going to be a Christmas surprise for the youngest daughter because we're going to set all that up in a room with a telly for Christmas. And I've got an Xbox One S, which has never missed a beat ever. So all I can say is that Xbox build their machines really well for me. I've always looked out and they've always built them really, really well. The PlayStations that I've owned, the PS1 I first had, I had to drop every time I turned it on. The PlayStation 2 that I owned overheated twice. The PlayStation 3 that I owned overheated. The PlayStation 4 Pro that I had the same issue my PlayStation 1 had. So when I put a disc in, I had to lift one corner and let it drop because they use really cheap disc drives that it just used to constantly, the laser used to skip and wouldn't read. You could hear it jumping on the track inside. And that was really annoying. Did that within 12 months. So yeah, I wouldn't be worried about having to pay it for two because I know for a fact that it would outlast everything else.
See, we've had different experiences. That's the problem. I never owned an Xbox One. Well, this isn't the only reason I never owned an Xbox One. I also had just mentioned how I went into this mobile period in my life where I didn't really play much any console games. So it's not the only reason. But one of the reasons I just bought the Wii U and never looked back on the Xbox One was because I owned 3 Xbox 360s, which they all they were replaced by Microsoft because they all had the red ring of death. And finally, after the third one died, Microsoft was like, yeah, we're done with this program. We replaced 3 of them. We're not replaced anymore if we have to buy a new one. And I was like, I'm definitely not buying a 4th one just to have this happen again. So yeah, I kind of dropped Xbox like a hot rock and was like, I'm done. This stuff doesn't work. Now, I had the original and it was fine, to be fair. I had the original and it was fine. It never broke. It did finally die, but it was way past its life cycle. It lasted longer than it lasted its life cycle and longer than my 360 did. Wow. Before it finally died. This is true. My grandmother was using the original Xbox up until 5 years ago to play DVDs. So she had the little remote control and she was all set up and that's what she used. I just taught her how to use it and she was good with it. So yeah, the original worked out really well, but then when I had all the problems with the 360 and I wasn't really gaming heavy anyways, I definitely wasn't going to buy into the one. But I'm back. I'm here. I'm going to try it again, and hopefully Microsoft brings me back aboard with a good product. So
yeah, welcome
to Xbox Dads. We started out with mobile dads. We had some Animal Crossing. We did some dad talk, and now it's Xbox Dads. Dang it, that's how we do it.
So
what else you got?
Circling back to Nintendo then. Yeah. Pikmin, the hype for Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Now, I've heard listening to the Dads After Dark, and they were just they kind of hammered it a little bit, saying it's just another part. It's a part. But the only Pikmin I ever played was the first one on the GameCube. I've never played another one since, and I absolutely loved Pikmin on the GameCube. It was ace. I found it really, really hard, and kind of introduced me a little bit to parenting, trying to keep all these tiny little Pikmin, which I sucked at. So here I am with 3 kids.
Just throw them at the bad guy.
Yeah,
They'll
I'm looking forward to this. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I pre-ordered it the day I went and picked up Super Mario All-Stars, 3D All-Stars. So. I'm kind of looking forward to that. I don't know what to expect because.
Yeah, you never played it. I did pre-order it. I've played it and never beat it, as I recall. I have no recollection of beating it if it happened. Maybe I will beat it and be like, oh, I remember this. But I'm pretty sure I didn't beat it. So I have pre-ordered it. I will more than likely play it. Yeah. So are you going to jump on the Calamity Ganon train?
No, Hyrule Warriors. What was the other one that came out on the Switch? Earlier on in the year?
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I know, but I can't think of it either.
No, I can't remember the name of it. It's gone from me too. I picked it up. I got it physically, and I think I played it twice, and then I was like, it's not for me. There used to be a game on the Xbox that it was the same, Dynasty Warriors. It was kind of similar play style, and it's just not for me. There's too much going on. I couldn't figure out how to beat the levels. It was like, okay, do I just need to smash all the bad guys to pieces, or and then when I realized it's like there's missions and other stuff going on the map that you've got to pay attention to, and it's kind of like, it wasn't for me. It wasn't my style of gameplay. It was a bit like there was too much happening at once. I loved it because I liked Zelda, and I liked the story behind it was really good. It was just the fact that, and I think the Dads After Darks guys kind of hit on this, and they said that you could spend 45 minutes playing that game for one level and fail at the end. And I was that to me was I have to go all the way back and start again. It was a waste of 45 minutes.
Yeah, so there is this thing where I'm like, I was listening to the Nintendo Dads talk about it, and I kind of fall in Justin's camp where it's like, wow, I don't know if this would be a game. Like, if this was just like another Hyrule, if this was just another Warriors game, I probably wouldn't pick it up. But I do want to know this. I do want to, like, hear the story of how that happened. But, I could always just have somebody tell me. Like, I don't know.
My understanding is that it's the prequel to Breath of the Wild, isn't it? So it's in Breath of the Wild, for anybody who is unfortunate enough to not play that game. If you will to watch all the cutscenes and listen to and read all the text and stuff that you find and things like that, it basically explains to you the Great War, which is what you're going to have in Calamity Ganon, I believe. So you've got you've got how everything came and the rise of the machines and things like that they used. And so I'm assuming that storyline is what Calamity Ganon is going to be, which I like yourself, I'd like to see. So if I have to play the game to see that, I might pick it up. But if it's not heavy on the storyline and it's more Hyrule Warriors type style thing, then I probably will miss it.
Yeah, and as much as there's a part of me that wants to play it, there's also another part of me that knows that I probably shouldn't, because the other game on my list that I really think that really is all for me, that I will be shocked if I don't love from what I've seen in the playthrough, is Phoenix Rising Immortals something or other. I don't know. The name is not the best. Immortals Phoenix Rising. That's what it is. The name is not the best, but Gods and Monsters was way better, but there's a whole trademark issue with that, apparently. But man, I watched the playthrough of this week, and I was like, yep, this is what I wanted it to be. It looks awesome. I'm in. Just let me play it. And that's supposed to come out December 3rd, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, currently it's supposed to come out on all consoles December 3rd. And that's only
open world.
Yeah. That's only 13 days after Hyrule Warriors. So there's a part of me that says, let's just be responsible and get the game you'll play instead of getting the game that you're probably going to buy and not play. Because by the time I'm done with Phoenix Rising, I probably won't go back to Hyrule Warriors. So I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out.
I'm just looking at some of the screen grabs now from the gameplay, and it looks really well made.
Yeah. So what I would suggest is the trailer's too obtuse to know anything about, like to really get a feel for it. There's about 10 minutes of actual gameplay where where one of the developers, or I don't know if it's a developer, but somebody's talking and playing through it from the development company, and it's really good. Well done. Little playthrough, and you get a real good feel of kind of the different mechanics. I mean, I don't know, maybe not a real good feel, but you get a feel for the different mechanics in the game and how it kind of plays. And so So yeah, I'd be into it. Well,
Yes.
is that a podcast? Sean?
I think that is a podcast. I think we've actually gone longer than we've ever gone before. So, and there's only two of us. So
How did that happen?
yeah,
Wrap this baby up.
Yeah. So, as always, Dad Crossing is part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. You can find new Nintendo Dad content where podcasts can be found. If you have questions or comments, you can reach out to us on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Everything is at @NDadCrossing. We want to give the Nintendo Dads a massive thanks for making this craziness happen. And from Nick, myself, Sean, we hope your village is sunny and your villagers are happy. Goodbye.
Have a good day, folks.
Now we'll go back.